Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out our other two videos on Bitchute and Rumble. Today it's the woke news update and of course blasting through the headlines. Lots of headlines today, lots of news. Checking this movie out. I gotta say, I talked pretty extensively about the first Venom movie. I thought, they had a vision, the director did, and I think the studio chopped it up to make it more palatable to the sort of Marvel crowd. And Venom has always been kind of a tough character in that he is not a good guy. And so they're trying to make him a good guy, and he's not really. He's just not. So here's rules: no eating people. Um, so they kind of got a better take on the character now. I think now that they know going into it, it's supposed to be more fun and more funny, and not quite as dark. But I think they missed a real opportunity here. I think what they could have done is basically say that Venom can only eat live things, which I think that was the direction they were going in the movies. Like he could only eat live creatures, right? And that Eddie would then have to subsist on a diet of nothing but live creatures. Like he would have to have live lobsters in his apartment, live fish. Like, you can make it mostly seafood so people don't get crazy that he's eating cats or dogs or people. Um, but they instead went this direction where he's eating other stuff and it's all crazy and hilarious because Venom eats too much. And he's gotten into a regular thing where now everybody knows who Venom is and Eddie is, I guess. Mrs. Chen does, who he saved in the previous movie. And now they're going to introduce Carnage. Now, the only way you can make a character like Venom, who does eat people, he doesn't eat them in this. I guess Eddie keeps stopping him. Into something more palatable is to then take a character like Woody Harrelson's character Carnage, and he's a serial killer who then gets his own parasite and then becomes, I don't know how he gets the parasite, it doesn't really tell you, but he becomes Carnage, and then it's Eddie, Venom, the better of the two parasites versus Carnage. And look, it looks cool. It looks even better than the first movie. The CGI in the first movie during the fight was terrible. It was just really awful. So, is it gonna be good? I don't know. It's probably. I mean, I gotta say, the first movie was really good up to a point. That first act, it's rock solid, just absolutely rock solid, and maybe like halfway through the second act, that's where it starts to break down. So this movie, I imagine, will be more consistent, and I would like to see, quite frankly, the director from the first movie get another shot. I'm not sure who's directing this thing. Let me see. Do they have credits here? No. Coming soon, only in movie theaters. Yeah, so now they're trying to push us back into the movie theaters. Yeah, I'm not sure who directed this or the first one, quite frankly. I forget the guy's name. Let's go to the IMDb. There it is, Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Okay, let's see. Venom 2018. Okay, who directed it? That was Ruben Fleischer. So we'll do Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Did they let Ruben direct again? No, Andy Serkis directed it. Well, interesting. That is certainly a shock. The writer is Kelly Marcel. Let's see. Who wrote the first one? I don't think it was Kelly Marcel. Bunch of writers. Jeff Pickner, Scott Rosenberg, and 5 more credits. Yeah, see, that's why I think they really hacked apart this thing. Jeff Pinkner, Scott Rosenberg. Oh, Kelly Marcel was on the first one. And then Pinkner and Rosenberg got a screen story by credit. And then Todd McFarlane and David Michelin got a created by credit for the character. But so at least they've gotten the screenwriter from the first one, or at least one of them. Andy Serkis directing. Now, that's interesting. Andy is an interesting choice. I met Andy once, and he was a pretty intense guy. Michelle Williams, Stephen Graham, Woody Harrelson, Naomi Harris, Reed Scott, Sean Delaney. So it looks like a decent cast. I mean, look, I think the movie's going to be okay. Oops. The problem is it's based on a comic that was not great, in my view. The Venom comic kind of lost its way. Now, but that being said, what Hollywood's forced to do with a lot of their screenwriters and screenplays is to consolidate the story, because they have to. It's only going to be 90 minutes, so what are you supposed to do? You have to edit out all the nonsense about Marvel characters and their various encounters with Captain America, the X-Men, etc., right? So when you get right down to it, I mean, is it a horrible story, a superpowered serial killer? Probably not. Probably an okay villain for Venom. And I'm kind of torn about this movie, whether I want to like it or not, but I can already tell you, I think, what the breakdown will be. So the first act will be something like, Eddie's there, and he's trying to live with Venom, and Venom's kind of under control, and it's all very amusing, and Venom constantly threatens people, but he never really goes that far. Then, Carnage, I forget the character's name, he's up on death row, they're going to kill him, and then for whatever wacky reason, and I can't wait to see why, but somehow they inject him with the other symbiote. The other symbiote gets injected in him somehow. Now he escapes and runs amok, and now only Eddie can fight him. So it's another space parasite versus Venom, and it's Carnage versus Venom, and Venom, I believe, for whatever reason, is weaker. Now, I think in the initial comic book story, I think Carnage was a spawn of Venom. He'd spawned a bunch of different, sons and daughters, and Carnage was the worst one. Because the parasite just, linked on to somebody, and he obviously doesn't care about eating people. So, the trailer is suggestive that there might be some other characters involved. I don't know if they're going to do them or not, but we'll see. I mean, it all depends upon this franchise. Ultimately, what we want to see, of course, is Venom go up against Spider-Man. Like this Venom, a better Venom. Tom Hardy's Venom. Because really, a lot of this is on Tom Hardy. He's a really good actor, and he makes this work. He really does. And Andy Serkis directing. That's going to be very interesting. I did not know he was directing this. Okay. So Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Will I see it? Oh, well, let me finish the breakdown. So the first act, they reintroduce Carnage. Guy's on death row. Second act, he gets ejected. He goes bananas. And Venom, it can't stand up to him. And then the third act is the final confrontation, and Venom and Eddie somehow figure out a way to defeat him. The end. So would I see this? I might go see this, because I did like the first one, up to a point. And I'd like to see a consistent movie that isn't edited by the studio. So maybe they'll do this. I don't think they're going to do it as a horror movie, as I heard the original one was sort of envisioned, but I think I think it could be fun. I say that with a lot of trepidation because I was really not a fan of the comic at all. And I was, collecting comics during that time, and I'd see Venom and I'd see Carnage. I was like, ugh. So, but I do really love Tom Hardy, and Woody Harrelson's no slouch either in the acting department. So, it could be that those two actors and Andy and the rest of the crew just bring it up to a whole new level. So, let there be carnage. Venom is back.